Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was like, Felicia was so strong. She was like, screw the establishment her whole life. No, I was desperate to fit in for so long because I felt like I was an
Yeah.
outsider. And it was when I decided to let that go and just accept myself for who I am and surround myself with people who accepted me for that. That was when I really feel like my career took off, but also I was much happier.
Good morning. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 6 of To the Moon with yours truly, the Stock Guy. Listen, they say oftentimes when something is good and you've got a while to do it, save the best for last. And with only 2 episodes left, that's what we're doing here, because I've got something special for you guys today. Someone who not only do you probably know, and if you don't know, you're probably living under a rock, but somebody who's going to rock the house with us today. Okay, so without financial, literacy as the backdrop today, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Now, for those of you guys who are new today, this is To the Moon. Every week, we do deep dive into a conversation about life, finance, stocks, and careers with a unique and talented guest. And like I said, we are saving the best for second to last here. So let me go ahead and introduce her because, like I said, everybody should already know who it is. It is Felicia Day, ladies and gentlemen, one of the OGs of creating everything that is considered nerdy or awesome in that entire space, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons, whether it's Magic the Gathering, whether it's World of Warcraft, creator of the guild, actress, author, producer, and as some people would say, the queen of geek herself. Felicia Day. Thank you so much, Felicia, for coming in and being here with us here at this degenerate show that we have going.
How am I going to live up to that? That was too much hype, man.
Well, I mean, I always tell people when they come into my show, make sure that you set a very low bar so you can only be impressed. But on this show,
good.
I like to set a high bar because at least people are like, hey, this is better than the crap that we usually see.
Okay, well, if your bar is really low, like farting on camera, I could beat that one. All right, so
I meant low as in like you're better off going through infomercials at 2 a.m. and finding better content. But regardless, now that we're here, like I said, it's like going from infomercials to something that people actually want to see. So thank you for coming in and saving my stream. I really do appreciate that more than you know.
No, I'm excited because I don't know a lot about you, but I know that your name is TheStockGuy, and that means you're better at something than I am, meaning money and stocks. So I was like, let me do it. Let me jump in. I can bask in the glory of somebody who actually knows what they're doing with their finances, and I can impart some life wisdom along the way. Okay, you're going to basically pay for my kids' college. Okay, that's what I need from you.
Listen, that we can work on that, but I just want, like I said, let's keep the bar low. Anybody can name themselves anything they want. Just because I name myself the Stock Guy, people believe I know about stocks. Matter of fact, I didn't even know what the stock market was until like a year and a half ago, and now I just kind of roll with it. Seems like it works. All right.
Wow.
So now that we're here, I want to get to know you. So I have a confession to make, and that is that I know this is gonna drive people in chat wild, but I am not part of the Felicia Day is Queen Simp Army because I am not in that space. But now, easy guys, easy. I did do my research this weekend, and I have to say I'm coming around. I'm coming around. I saw the stuff that you put out there, and now I get it. So
you're
now
slightly persuaded that you like my stuff. This is like the most insane high to low that I've ever. You gave me this amazing intro, and then now suddenly I'm like, I wikied you.
I told you, but I literally tried to warn you that this was going to happen. Like I need to make sure that I keep you on your toes, because otherwise it's just going to be like, yeah, here's my book, But we're going to do this. All right, let's hop into it before we go crazy here. The first thing I wanted to say is that I saw that you are from Alabama. Is that correct?
Lies.
No,
okay, I'm just kidding. Yes, no, it's true. It's true. You can't fool Wikipedia. Yes, I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. And I grew up in the South. So I grew up in Huntsville, Birmingham. My dad was in the Air Force. So I lived at around Keesler Air Force Base on the Gulf Coast for about 7-8 years. And then we moved around a lot and then ended up in San Antonio. And then I went to college in Austin. So I'm a Southerner.
Wow, that's insane, because I was in the Air Force and I went to San Antonio for boot camp. And true fact, Hurricane Katrina went through. The day after Hurricane Katrina happened, my unit got flown to Keesler Air Base, and we did search and rescue and protection for that base for 3 months after Katrina.
Wow. Yeah, that was devastating.
True
Yeah,
story.
that's where they took the C-130s and would fly into the hurricanes. That's what they do
Yeah,
at
the
Keesler.
hurricane hunters
And
were there. Unfortunately, we were
amazing.
kind of there after the hurricane, like ripped everything out. And I've got some stories, but we'll say that for another time. So I do have a question, and it doesn't have to do with cousins. Alabama or Auburn?
Auburn.
You better be. Hold on, before you answer.
Why?
Understand the gravity of the answer of this situation.
Well, my grandpa, my grandfather was a nuclear physicist. He helped invent the laser in the 60s. So he was where are you leaving? Whatever. So he taught at Auburn. He taught physics at Auburn for a couple of years. So whenever I would watch the Alabama Auburn game, it would be heavily invested in Auburn. I don't care. I'm from UT. I went to one football game the whole time. They're very famous for their football. I was so bored. It was like the score was like 85-4 or something like that. It was like New Mexico State University. I was like, football sucks. And that was the last I had to do with the whole sport. So that's just my perspective on this. Did I piss everybody off? Yes.
Honestly, I feel like Auburn is the better answer because the people who are going to hate on you for that are only Alabama fans because everyone else hates Alabama. So I feel like in the state you might have caused some problems. But by the way, did you just casually drop that your grandfather was a nuclear physicist who invented the laser? Did you just casually drop that?
Yeah, I casually drop a lot, man. Oh, look, I know Nathan Fillion. Drop.
I don't even know who that is.
Dude. Wow. Okay.
We got a long show, so let's do it. By the way, fun fact. Something I remember because I have a crazy ADHD. When I was a kid, I learned what laser stood for one time and never forgot it.
Okay, pull it out.
No, light amplification through stimulated emission of radiation. I've never forgotten that. I don't know why.
That's hot.
I don't know why I never forgot that. One time I heard that and I just never forgot it.
Okay. I'm proud of you. See? Did you know that yak's milk is pink? I never forgot that either. Did you know that it's a Mitrodon? You can milk
anything with nipples?
You can milk anything with a nipple. You can even milk an almond, but I don't know how because they don't have nipples. Did you know that a Dimetrodon was not? I just learned this because I have a child, so I learn more things with a child than not. A Dimetrodon is, in fact, not a dinosaur. It is a proto-mammal. I just blew your mind. And also, Berenstain Bears books are shit because they told me it was a dinosaur. They tried to teach my child incorrectly.
There's many reasons why there's shit, but I mean that is a new one, I guess. I would assume
inaccurate.
It's like did you know that the argument of did the chicken or the egg come first is a stupid argument? It's always the egg.
Why? What?
Really? Okay, so we haven't even begun this conversation. This isn't
this
even
could be
close.
The whole hour. I don't care.
Okay, but here you go. So if birds came from dinosaurs, right? Like we know that there's an evolutionary chain there, right? That means slowly but surely those had to evolve into what became the chicken. But as evolution happens, there was something that was almost a chicken that laid an egg that became what we know as the chicken. So therefore, what laid that egg wasn't a chicken, so the egg had to come before the chicken.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know we were going to touch on evolutionary biology here. This is great.
I didn't either, and now I've completely been like, you know what? Well, I've just thrown out the script, and we're just gonna go with it because I think we're both learning about it.
Listen, if I had anything else to teach you, I would, but I think we've already plumbed the depths of my knowledge. Oh, a hydrax? I learned this yesterday. A hydrax is related to an elephant, which is weird because it's the size of a shrew or a gerbil, and that's not the size of an elephant. So,
you know, the deadliest mammal in the world is a hippopotamus.
I knew that only because I didn't know crap about animals until I had a baby. And now I'm like, let's read whatever we have in the house. And now I'm educated about biology and animal anatomy.
I found out that it is looked down upon if you hose off the baby in the backyard. I learned a lot too.
What's wrong with that? If the baby's covered in poopy.
I know, right? Like, why can't you? I mean, you don't put the jet on, you just put the spray and you just kind of like gently. I mean, they enjoy it apparently. All right, you know what? I'm going to end up getting myself canceled again.
What's wrong with hosing off a baby? Like, they get dirty. I don't want to take them in the house. Is this illegal? Is child services coming?
No, it's not illegal, but apparently if you take your child out into the backyard and put them in the grass and just kind of hose them off, it's not apparently, I don't make the rules. I don't know.
Is it your chat? Because they don't seem educated.
That's actually fair. Actually, that's absolutely fair. Yeah. I can't even. Okay. All right. Okay. Now that we've hit facts and done all of that, let's try to actually get back before we get off on a tangent again. So, welcome in Felicia Day, everyone, the queen of nerdiness. Felicia, can I ask you a question? Are you a Dungeons and Dragons player?
I am. I do play. Okay. I mean, I haven't played lately because of COVID and all of that, but yes. For many years, I was in a campaign.
I've always wanted to play. Like, I had this idea that I have this imagination. I always wanted to play, and I said if I ever got good at it, and I would host games if I was rich and I had my own basement. I would like make it look like a dungeon and play. I had all this in. So I've never played it. And I tried to play it one time, and I went on meetup.com and I found this group, and I went there, and it was
risky.
Yeah, I mean, I carry a gun, but I go to this comic shop, and while I'm at the comic shop, like there's a guy at the front, and I ask him, I said, "Hey, I'm here for the thing." He kind of looks me up and down. He says, "Wait a second," goes like to this back room, like some kind of like I don't know, like some kind of secret meeting. And this other guy comes out, and he's like, "Yeah, how can I help you?" And I'm like, "I was here for the game." He looks me up. He says, "We don't have any room this time," and then went in the back and left me hanging. I got totally. It was horrible. So I have boycotted learning Dungeons and Dragons ever since then.
What? This story had so many layers. Like, first of all, you go on Meetup?
Well, how else do you find people? All my friends were alcoholics who like football. Like, who was I going to talk to?
No, that's where people go to find other people who like feet. That's not where you go to find friends. Okay.
Wait, where do I go for that?
Yeah, well, I'll send you some links. So I'm really concerned with you that you don't know anybody nerdy and enough to be able to host a game. A, B, if you go to the local game store, they usually have game nights. If you look at their schedules where you could drop in, maybe not this place. And what about, were you dressed in like a chicken costume? What about you? Seemed like somebody they wanted to
I just showed up. I think I was wearing a jersey that day because it was whatever. No, I wasn't wearing a jersey. I forgot what I was wearing. I was just wearing regular clothes, and I just walked in. I was like, "Hey, man, I was told to meet here," and the guy was like, "Yeah, hold on a second." Like maybe they thought I was there to like make fun of them or something, but like I was like literally there to learn to play Dungeons and Dragons. So since then, I was like, you know what? Screw that game. I will just whatever.
I wouldn't typecast you as a jock. I don't want to insult you, but it's not like you're all muscly or anything. So like,
no,
I would say
I'm
you're
not
in the nerd
a jock.
Yeah. So I don't know what you are, but I would say that you wouldn't be rejected.
I don't know what you are. Wow. This is my ex-girlfriend all over again.
I would suggest you go to your local game store. Maybe not this specific one, because it seems like a kind of a douchey bouncer situation going on there, which I've never heard about.
Wait a minute, hold on. It just registered. Did you just call me a beta? Like you wouldn't be the jock type to me because you're not all muscly. You're all scrawny, looking like a nerd. What did you just typecast me? Did Felicia Day just out me and like roast me? Like
I'd say no insult. You look average in every single way. Okay, there's nothing special about you at all, and that's a compliment. Okay, keep going. You're just an average white guy. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's like you got the average kind of facial hair. You got the average.
You know what's funny is the producer can't even say, he's laughing in the background. Like, he doesn't even realize I can hear him laughing at you roasting me right now. Okay, real quick, Felicia. Before I forgot. Before we do continue on, because this is not going to go anywhere. Now that you've taken over the show, this is To the Moon with Felicia.
I haven't taken over anything. I haven't driven in there.
Just so you're aware, I wanted you to be aware of this, and the only reason I like I said, I had no idea who you were 24 hours ago. The only reason I knew that you were important to some people. Well,
The window
I mean,
was shortened. I think you Wikipedia me like literally 5 minutes before we went on air, and you're like, done.
no, I Wikipedia'd you last night. I watched the Larry King interview before I came on live. I just want to throw this out there.
To me, but he's dead. I shouldn't.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. So I wanted to get in here. The reason I found out that you were somebody of significance was because one of my mods was fangirling you so hard that she is taking off work to be here.
Hi, what's their name?
Eggs for sale.
Eggs for sale. Hi. I don't know what you see in this guy, but I'll figure it out just for you.
She doesn't see anything in me.
Okay.
It was you I was talking about, fangirling you, not me.
No, I know, but they mod for you. Notice me. Okay, I did Eggs for sale. But they love you for some reason because they devote their time to you. So I'm trying to figure out what
there's just nothing else on Twitch during their work. All the other streamers sleep in late.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. This was not how I imagined this going. It's going better.
It's a disaster. I love it though.
No, it's not. This is awesome. This is the best interview you've ever done.
Yes. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm sorry. Should I not screen? I should not share. Sorry.
No, there's no sponsors wanted to take on this show. You're fine. It's true. Okay. All right. So let's go back 15 minutes to where we're supposed to do. So welcome, Felicia. Hey, everyone.
Thank you.
To the Moon, episode 6. This is where we deep dive into conversations about life, finance, stocks, and careers with a unique and amazing guest every week. And sometimes we can't get anybody, and last minute we find somebody. So, Felicia, tell me a little bit about little Felicia. In a non-weird way, can you tell me? Because one thing that I think is awesome about what I've learned about you 5 minutes into Wikipedia research is that you are one of those people who decided instead of being, trying to be somebody you're not, trying to run away and trying to get with the people that everyone thinks is cool or what everybody else wants to be. You said, no, screw that. I am not into, the Barbie dolls, which maybe you are, but I'm not into this or that or whatever. I'm into gaming and I'm into this. And you know what? I'm proud of it. And I'm going to take that passion and pursue it and embrace it rather than try to be somebody I'm not. So that had to start somewhere. Where did little Felicia stop giving a shit?
Well, I like the way you interpret my journey. It's not entirely accurate. I think that I
just made it up. I have no idea.
It's great. It sounds great. And my next book, I'm going to ask you to blurb the back, okay? I think that my life journey I was homeschooled. So I was raised in a very strange bubble. Like I don't think I could describe, I think I underestimate how different my life was. So I never woke up early, ever. Not one day in my life. I never took a test. I never really did anything. I did a lot of lessons, but I didn't actually ever have a friend. And I don't even mean to exaggerate this. There was never a sleepover. There was never a play date. There was nothing. It was me and my brother kind of locked in a house. And there were some great things about that because I read a lot of I was reading Asimov at 12 because I was bored, So I was very strange, but I didn't actually know that I was strange. So I was never really rejected for being weird because I know that had I gone to school, I would have been rejected and I would have conformed a lot more to what people would have thought about me based on my looks or the kind of person I am. So I went to college at 16 because I had a full scholarship to violin and I was just bored and I wanted to get out of the house. So I was in college, but I wasn't actually legally able to hang out with anyone. Therefore, more isolated.
This was the 90s. I think it was a little different back then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how was it different? What was it different about the 90s?
First of all, I just want to say I didn't throw the average thing out there when you said people weren't going to judge me based on my looks. I was nice. So, okay, I want me to have the high ground here, okay? Number one. Number two,
you got it.
Yes, I did research that you could have gone to Juilliard and you didn't go.
Because my parents were very poor and we couldn't afford to move to New York. Yeah, but I was accepted to the pre-program, which is the fancy way to get into Juilliard. because I was violent.
Okay. So
Because
you were
again,
just
I was
bored
bored.
and went to college at 16.
Because I was bored. Like I wanted to. Can you imagine growing up and not having a friend? It was sad.
Yeah, I don't have to imagine it. I was literally running around the jungles of Hawaii with like lice and ringworm because I didn't have it. I was there. I know. That's why we're so weird.
Wow, it's true, but that's good. So I think if you grow up and you're able to let your weirdness kind of develop early, then you'll feel really isolated and alone and feel rejected by a lot of different areas that you try to make your way in. Like I was fine in college because it's all about learning. But when I got to Hollywood, I was like, oh my God, nobody likes me. And so I spent years trying to get in. I was like, what can I do with my hair? How can I act? Well, how many classes can I go to? What kind of parties can I go to have anybody accept me? And then I became addicted to World of Warcraft. And then I joined a self help group. And then I decided to write my own stuff. And then once that started taking off, because I started doing YouTube videos, that's when I was like, oh, I don't have to please these assholes. I can just do my own thing. And that was really when my life. So it wasn't until my late 20s that I even felt like I belonged anywhere because I created my own area in life. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I was like, Felicia was so strong. She was like, screw the establishment her whole life. No, I was desperate to fit in for so long because I felt like I was an outsider. And it was when I decided to let that go and just accept myself for who I am and surround myself with people who accepted me for that. That was when I really feel like my career took off, but also I was much happier.
Yeah. No,
That was a good summary.
And like I said, something that you touched on was, not knowing that you were different or awkward or weird was probably the best thing that happened to you because this interview is not about me, but just so you kind of where I'm saying that I understand it is that I was taken away from my family situation when I was young and put into a children's home. And I went to public school at that time and I was always picked on for not having parents or do this. And so I spent my entire preteen, teen, and even 20s trying to conform to being other people. And, I wish I had, your sense of, like I said, you embraced that weirdness. And I feel that also, guys, don't forget real quick. Don't forget to ask questions. We have a Q&A session at the end. If you want to fangirl over Felicia, we're going to do a live Q&A for at the end for your questions. So make sure you put them in now. And we'll hopefully our producer will do better than what they just did a second ago, where they left up for 5 minutes. Stocky's only friend was lice and ringworm. Thank you. But yeah. So you, and one thing I think a lot of people struggle with, and I think it's big on this platform too, on Twitch, is that, people feel like they don't, that's why Twitch is so successful, right? You have this idea that people can be who they want to be in a part of a community, but they can do it online. They can do it anonymously. Right. And they wish they could do what they do on Twitch in real life. And everybody says to themselves or as advice, oh, just be yourself. Oh, just learn to love yourself. But it's not that easy. It's so hard to break that mold. And like you said, you did the reverse. Instead of trying to be somebody and then being yourself, you were being yourself. Then all of a sudden you were thrust into the spotlight in Los Angeles and you felt out of place at first, right?
I was not in no spotlight. I was just rejected all over. I was like, please let me in. I'm pretty enough. Oh no, I need to do a nose job. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Did you get a nose job done?
I did not. That's why I still have this nose. But I was told to fix my teeth, fix your nose, lose weight, gain weight, do your hair different. Like a lot of people had opinions about my outsides that I needed to fix in order to work and be accepted. I think overall, the secret to life is looking at yourself as continual homework, figuring out who you actually are. But the work that the world puts on us is figure out how not to be who you should be. I think that we often are not encouraged to have that journey of self-discovery to figure out how do I work best? What am I creative about? What do I actually like doing? We're put in a lot of systems where we have to figure out how to work within the confines of that. And that's fine, but there's never encouragement to also find our own voice. And so I think that that's always been my quest in life, to find out what I'm drawn to, what I want to work on, what I'm best at, What are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? And figuring that out as you grow, because you're always changing, right? If you're never just one thing. It's not like, oh, I figured out who I am at 30. Well, in 10 years, you're going to be a different person. So you get to work on yourself forever. But that kind of work is not kind of put into our minds as children as important.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I think is amazing about a lot of people, you especially, is that, everyone wants us to be something we're not. And what they end up wanting us to be is just like everything else. And that's muddied. And the people who not just find success, but the happy, successful people, or at least pretend to be happy, successful people, seem to be the people who said, no, I'm going to be comfortable with who I am, found the success, and we're so good in the success because they didn't have to conform. They got to be who they want. They got to follow their passion and love it and not chase who someone else, because it's so empty inside, I mean, and you, like you said it perfectly. Like, you had the opportunity, but had you have done all that, maybe you wouldn't have had success. Even if you did, would you have enjoyed it, And
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I totally agree
and
with
another
you.
thing that
I mean, mhm.
no, please.
I feel like a lot of the times we have sort of a conditional love that we're looking for in life, and Hollywood is the epitome of that. Like, what can I be for you to love me? And so we're always looking outside of ourselves to conform to get that sort of reinforcement or love in a very primal way. But the problem is, when we achieve that, if we achieve that, we know it's conditional because we've changed ourselves to get it. And if we change to be more loyal to ourselves and what our needs are, then we're going to be abandoned. So you have this sort of push and pull of like, oh my gosh, I have the success because they like me now, but it's only the based on the provisions of what they need from you. And the minute you don't provide what they need, they drop you. And that's Hollywood, that's fame, that's some parents, like, it's a lot, it's all over in life. And unless we're aware of that, we can get really pulled down a path that's not as fulfilling, even if you have incredible success.
Yeah, and I feel like the world's moving to live streaming, and I feel like that's being amplified in live streaming because, unlike old media, you don't get to hear directly in real time from your critics, right? So what happens there is that you're always like, oh, not as many people came to see my show, or my numbers aren't as good. Maybe I'm not doing something right. But in this world, because it's reactive, it's real time, everything like that, not only do you do that, but now you're seeing it and you're honing in on the real time negative comments. And as a streamer, it's taken me a long time to understand that I'm not going to make everybody happy. And if I try to make everybody happy, I'll make no one happy. So I might as well people watch me for a reason. There's something about me people watch, something about you that people like. And if you try to change too much, you're going to leave nobody. So you might as well just continue on. And that's going to lead me into my next thing is that, you went out from graduating from the University of Texas, hook 'em horns, they suck, but yeah. And you got a degree in math and I told you weren't ready for this one.
Jesus, are you like an OU person?
I dated.
Like, what's going on?
Can I be honest with you? The first not out of the military girlfriend I had was a cheerleader at University of Oklahoma, and let me tell you something. When you're dating an ex-cheerleader from a college like that, they will make you a fan of any school. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I was a boomer sooner for a while. Trust me. Okay. No offense to Texas. Okay. Now that I made that weird, let's move on. Okay. So your first big show was Buffy, correct?
That was the first TV show that I ever got like more than one episode of. Yes. And that was amazing because that was a show kind of about outsiders. I felt very like accepted for who I was for the first time in Hollywood. And it kind of helped like cement some relationships that continued throughout my career. So yes, that was my first big kind of break in a sense. Although I was in Bring It On Again as a very angry ballerina healed by cheer. So I know about cheerleading and how it can really change your heart and make you a better person.
And being angry. But my chat is saying, Stocky, no one gives a shit about that low budget, off brand, overhyped show. Talk about the Guild. So you know what? I am going to listen to the people. What is the Guild? Tell me and all the other people out there who aren't aware of it and why there is apparently a huge cult following. I got to hear this. I want to know directly from you. I want you to explain this to me like you're talking to some idiot on the internet who is old and out of touch.
Okay, this is like when I go to a coffee shop and somebody's like, "Hey, I recognize you from something, but I don't know what it is." And then they expect me to list my resume. I'm like, is it this? Is it this? Is it? No. Okay, yes, I could do that for you. So around 2006, I became really, really depressed and had a lot of mental illness problems around my acting career because I was paying the bills, but I was not happy. And I was so anxious that my anxiety was getting interfering a lot in opportunities because I just couldn't even function because I was like so wanting to belong, right? So it was kind of this vicious cycle, and I decided to play World of Warcraft 12 hours a day for about a year. My brother got me into it, but I was like, finally, I have a job. People like me. My work actually pays off. This is amazing. So I got into sort of a hardcore raiding guild. I was the lead warlock. Okay. This was early. This was like vanilla when it, okay, I'm keeping going. You do whatever you need. Do your email. So I got very addicted, but it wasn't particularly fulfilling. And so I started to getting more depressed because I was playing 12 hours a day of Warcraft and I was kind of being served food by my partner at the time. And I'd be like, thanks for the food. And just like,
were you working at the same time? Were you working at the same time playing 12 hours?
Yeah, because, actors, I mean, I would do a couple commercials a year and I would make my money, right? Like if you got a national commercial, like be it 10 years ago, you could make like $30,000, $50,000 just for one day of work. But that you have to audition 45 times for that one job, right? So I would do auditions and I would go home and play WoW. So anyway, I got depressed. I took a sketch writing class and my teacher at the time and I were got along really well. And she invited me to a self-help group based on The Secret.
I remember that. Everybody kept telling me to watch that thing. I was like, no, you cult people. I'm not watching your DVD.
Yes, it was. It's not what I'm proud of. The fact, I mean, we did not actually read The Secret. It was like we were going to actualize our careers. It was just basically a bunch of ladies who weren't doing what they wanted to do in the business and was like, let's meet every week for pancakes. And so after about 6 months of that, I got kind of guilty because I just was like, hey, yeah, we totally started, I take Cthulhu or whatever, we attacked at Cthulhu and nobody was.
It sounds like a pyramid scheme.
I tanked the Emperor and I was really excited about it. And they were like, we don't understand. Could you just do what you need to do here to get a career? So I gave myself a deadline and I wrote the script for the guild before December 31st in 2006. And I literally was crying because I could not get myself to write. I was sobbing, but I'm like, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. And I literally finished it like 2 hours before midnight. And it turned out to be not a bad script, but nobody understood it in Hollywood because it was about gamers. Nobody understood gaming. They still don't. And so my friend, who was my teacher, also who was in the group, let's just make this ourselves because she had just started doing uploading videos to YouTube. Like YouTube had just started. This is total old
2006,
school,
2007. That was infant. Yeah.
Yep. So and then it just took off from there. And I was so happy finally to do something that was A, my story, B, I was in control of, and C, I felt like I belonged. And when we uploaded those first videos, it was like looking at comments. I'm like, oh, I'm not a reject. People like what I'm doing. And it just became like, that was my passion. I was like obsessed. So we made a lot, 6 more seasons. We PayPal'd the money for the second season, even though it was before Kickstarter started. We just took money through PayPal and I sent DVDs out and hand packaged them myself. So we did whatever we could to just keep going because I didn't even support myself with the show for years, but I just would keep doing acting. But that was what meant something to me because I was making something that was truly my own. I was creating and I was being accepted for it. And that's all I wanted in life. So we did that for 6 years. So it was on Netflix until several months ago. It's not on there now. You can watch the first 4 seasons on YouTube now, or you can get the DVDs for all 6 seasons. I'm still working out some licensing agreements for it to be available for everybody. So it's a little hard to find now, but the DVD is there and you could watch the first 4 seasons on YouTube. That's my story.
That was a whirlwind. But the best part for me of that is that, you took that risk, right? Like you were barely getting by. Like you were doing commercials. I used to do commercials back in the day when I was much more attractive than I am now. And there were some SAG nationals that got picked up, and I was having, residuals come in, and it was great. But like you said, it's feast or famine in Miami, especially. It was like you could book one job and then not book a job for 6 months. You just never know.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
you said, you know what, I'm going to get myself out of this rut with gaming. And full disclosure, I was addicted to Warcraft 3 back in the 1999, 2000.
Ooh.
That was my jam. I played World of Warcraft when it came out, but I was in the military at the time. So I played for like a year and then never played again. So were you Horde or Alliance?
Alliance.
You don't know. Do not be ashamed of that. I was Alliance too. We will not be ashamed. Remember,
finally.
This show is about being true to yourself. I used to jam out to Backstreet Boys when I was in high school, okay? I didn't do it around anybody, but I did on the way home from work, okay? I am not afraid. You know what? Nickelback's first album wasn't that bad. I said it. That's right. Wasn't that bad.
No judgment.
I don't care. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't toxic, horrible. There were some good songs. I'm okay with that. I probably just lost half my audience. I probably should have stopped at Backstreet Boys.
Why did the numbers just fall?
Because you're still on. All right. So the thing is that okay. So the guild, right? So you took this risk. You wrote it. You did this, and it worked out, and it worked, right? All of a sudden, you're in there. You're pumped. You're doing.
Yes. But I'm telling you, it was terrifying. The idea of making something on my own. I mean, we only spent like $500 each, but that's a lot of money, but just making something on our own when we're trapped in a world of like doing things for other people, doing something for ourselves is very, very terrifying. And I would not have been able to do it without that support group, The Secret or Not. I just want to be very clear. You have to have people help you make the big leaps, or you're probably never going to do them.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that. I'm always looking to, I've always done stuff for other people just because I never grew up with this sense of, loving myself and believing that I was worthy of everything. So it was always about making people happy or making people, whatever, doing that. And then I do this stream. I don't know computers. I didn't have a computer until I was in my late 20s. I didn't know how to do any of this. I'm learning still. But like you said, the idea of building something myself and people liking me for me and what I've created, it's an amazing feeling. Even on the days where you're exhausted and you're tired and you want to give up, you think to yourself, but look at what I've got. I mean, even if I just don't have anything, but I'm just out there being myself, there's people that want to be around me and see me. And it's such a great feeling, but you had to take that risk. The biggest risk in life is never taking any risk. So I just want to say, that's inspiring. And I love the fact that your story is not, I was rich. I come from a rich family. My parents put me through college and then gave me a bunch of money to go start my own business. I failed 3 of them. And finally, one of them took off. That's not the whole, I built something. Yours is, I come from nothing. I worked hard. I have a weird background. I embraced who I was. I took the risks. I went through hardship. I went through depression. I was using video games as my sense of medication. Now, some people would say, well, that's not that bad. Well, some people use alcohol. Some people use drugs. Some people use sex. Some people use that.
Yeah.
You used, video games. And
I used World of Warcraft. I had a lot of friends online. It wasn't the first game I'd done that with. I was obsessed with this game. Nobody probably played, Puzzle Pirates. And it's this online like flash game that I was so addicted to. But I saw a woman's relationship disintegrate over this Puzzle Pirates game. She started having an affair with a guy. She started moving in with him. She had to leave her child with her other. Like, it was just like, whoa. And yet still, I didn't.
Wow,
take
that
the
is
signs
complicated
of
for a flash game. And I thought Kitty Cannon was in depth.
You should hear what I learned on Cookie Clicker. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, everybody tells me that I look like some guy from some hotel, and I don't even know what game that is. Habbo Hotel
I don't know
or
what
something?
That is. No, I have no idea.
Okay. Do you remember? I know we're boomers, but do you remember that little ski jump with the little Yeti that used to run down and eat you?
Yes, that was a good game.
That was awesome.
What was the name of that game?
Ski jump, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was ski jump. I was never good at it, but I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with it. Ski
I
jump.
remember
Ski free was the best. Ski free. It's called ski free.
Ski free. Okay. I remember the first game that I played was on the calculator, was the drug dealer game in school, in like high school. Remember, you used to like have to like buy heroin and cocaine from one city and then fly to Bogota and sell it for a higher price and do it before you get caught. It was on the
This
calculator.
Is part of your school?
No, it was on a calculator. It was a game that was like on a calculator.
I was like, that doesn't seem like a good curriculum to me, but I don't know. I don't want to judge anybody.
I mean, I don't know. Some people did pretty well with it. They didn't last long, but I mean, drug wars. There you go. Okay. All right, we got 6 more minutes for a commercial break, so I want to hit a couple other things because this has been awesome and fun. But hey, no, go back to the other slide. Go back to the other slide. I'm not done. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, Geek and Sundry. Talk to me about Geek and Sundry.
So I started a company with YouTube. So in 2011 or something like that, YouTube gave like 100 channels several $1 million to create original content. And most of the people they picked were just established Hollywood companies, but they did pick some people to do. And I was like, I loved my web series so much. All my agents were like, go and sell a TV show. And I'm going to be a pioneer. That's what I'm known for. And like, this is actually where I started getting trapped in my own sort of renown and fame. Although I don't regret anything, but now when I look back,
go.
When I look back on it, I'm like, you had no freaking idea how to make a company, and you had no idea what you were getting into. You had no idea about the scale of what you were being asked to do that was unrealistic for the money that you got. So, but at the same time, I'm so proud of what I did. It just broke me mentally and physically. So I got one of the channels, and I had a slate of shows that I wanted to make. And I did make them. I made a show called Tabletop. I made a show called The Flog, which was me hosting. Tabletop was with me and Will Wheaton, and it kind of revolutionized the board game industry. We did a bunch of like written by a kid. We did a Magic the Gathering show called Spellslingers, which I helped create because I love magic. We did a Twitch channel later on that created Critical Role. I found Critical Role and I put them on my channel, and that's how they started. They were just a friend of a friend. And so all of this stuff came out because I loved all these things that I didn't think that people would celebrate and no Hollywood person would ever make a show about. Unfortunately, because of the number of hours that I had to work, because I was producing as well as being in front of camera, as well as flying around the world doing press for it and appearances, collabs. I was also on Supernatural as an actress. So I basically had a complete mental breakdown and burnout. And if you read, I have a biography that I wrote, autobiography, You're Never Wheeled on the Internet Almost. And you can read a little bit more about that. But, I kind of drove myself into the ground because I loved this so much and it gave me so much meaning to be known for this. And yet I didn't think about my own health and my own needs because, again, I was thinking about other people or just the success, my own ego. It was a lot. I've been through a lot of therapy. But anyway, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people. that see those that are in this, that acting or streaming or whatever that are successful think, and I know this is going to fall on deaf ears, but it's like, I'd like I said before, I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than in a trailer. Like, I get that argument, but I think people misunderstand how a lot of people weren't born with this success. They grew, they grinded, they got there, they have it, but it doesn't change who they are. Like when I turn off my stream, I go play with my daughter. I change poop diapers. I fix the sink. I have to pay bills. I have sick family members. Like, it is there. And this grind, this idea of we have to always be working and grinding. And if you take time off, you lose viewership. So you got to keep going. And then you burn out and you're not happy. And it was tough for me to accept that. And I started cutting my hours back to streaming. And everybody who watched me was like, "Oh, part-time Andy. Oh, you're not dedicated. You don't care." And I thought to myself, that's fine, but you know what? I'm going to last longer and I'm going to be happier. Wow, that sounds like a Viagra commercial. If I don't go the full 4 hours. I meant is in my stream. I used to stream for 4, now it's like 3. So, I pulled it back. And I'm actually in a better place. So I'm really happy that you shared that experience because it's really important for people to understand that, it's a lot of hard work. It's not just, turn on the camera and everything's there. There's so much work before and after and on, and there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot there, and it's awesome.
Also is very hard to regulate because you're kind of especially on social media, less so with live streaming because people can kind of know you as a person. That's why I love streaming. I started streaming in 2015 after I sold my company. And I was just like, I have to have something of my own where I'm in touch with the community in a not way that I want them to buy something or watch something. I just like, let me just do this for myself. And I've been doing it since. I do a lot more of it now because of COVID, I just was like, I love this. But you're right. It can get out of control because the more you're on, the more people watch you, and those numbers become important for reasons that aren't that exciting, but like you get caught up in it. But especially on social media, like people buy into the dream if you look the best, right? And I like to put this analogy on social media. You're papering the inside of a car with attractive pictures of you, but you're on the inside of the car and no one can see you through the pictures, and you're just sad and alone because that's social media. You're just presenting something that's not real so other people can feel envious of you and maybe inspired, but also like aspirational. But then that's unrealistic because that's not what life is about.
Yeah, and everybody sees other people's social media and feels depressed about their own life, but at the same time, it's hard to remember that those people are just showing their highlight reels. Like people will often say, "Oh, you've got your shit together." Like, let me be honest with you. You never have your shit together. Like if you're 30 years old and you feel like you don't have it together, guess what? You're fine. You're just like everyone else. It's just everyone pretends better when they get, whatever. So, it's really inspiring to the people in chat saying, "Oh, this isn't an interview. They're both talking a lot." It's a conversation. Tranquilo.
It's a good interview.
Right. I love it. I'm having so much fun, but we do have to take a commercial break. I am contractually obligated to do so. But before we go, guys, those of you guys who are thinking about bouncing on the commercial, don't, because when we come back, I am going to ask her about how she fell into, or I shouldn't say fell into, but got into Dr. Horrible's sing-along, because you guys are all asking about that in chat right now. I want to know about what it's like to write a book, and do people still read books? Also, want to talk about your foray into being a degen in the crypto space, as well as Q&A, you teaching me some stuff, and some YOLOs. So guys, we're going for a commercial break. It's going to be 90 seconds for non-subs. 3 minutes for non-subs, 90 seconds for subs. We are going to come back in 90 seconds for a conversation and then get back into it afterwards. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back here with Felicia Day, the above average one herself. We'll see you guys in 90 seconds. We are back, and the producer is fired keeping up these same comments on the thing. My mods are going to have to all get fired after this. But back here with Felicia Day, we are waiting for all of the non-subs to get back. And in the meantime, Felicia, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's rhetorical, but I just want to seem polite. What was the weirdest? So you became, famous, and the thing is like, obviously there's a fan base there, and the nerdy, geeky fan base, we've seen the Star Wars, Star Trek, all that stuff like that. So we know it's very passionate. What was the wildest, maybe not, it doesn't have to be the scariest or weirdest, what was the wildest, fan interaction you had when you first hit it big?
I read about in my book how when we went to Bed Bath & Beyond with my dad, who didn't understand what I was doing at the time, one of the clerks was so excited to see me and took a picture with me, and my dad started like tearing up because he's like, I finally get that you're touching people with what you're doing that I don't understand. He was like, well, what are you doing? You could always go to law school. And he didn't understand the internet stuff because it was very early. And the fact that he saw like this clerk get excited about my stuff, he was like, oh, okay. I guess you should keep going with this. It was very impactful. Also, people tattoo my face and my signature on their bodies a lot, which is a little unusual.
Wait, your face is tattooed on people's bodies?
Yeah. But also a lot of my signature. Like if you a lot of
signatures don't generally change, but faces do. Like, I mean, that's interesting. Like, hey, no. I'm not trying to say that like you're gonna get old and stuff. I'm saying like, as in like,
I am gonna get old and stuff. Listen, I regret most not getting naked in a film that was artfully lit because I should have preserved that shit.
You regret not getting naked on film?
Yeah.
Do you know a different, there's another redhead actress about the same fame level, Kate Winslet. She actually regrets getting naked in Titanic.
Really? Well, that seemed inappropriate. I don't even know why that nudity was in there. That was a dumb show to. Anyway,
because all of the guys who got drugged by their girlfriends to go see that stupid movie needed at least something.
Okay. There's something
I feel like that's
problematic
fair.
there, but
I feel
I'm
like
not
I
gonna
made
call
that up, but I feel like it's fair. Okay. Now that we got that out, I'm not mansplaining. All the guys in chat are like, true. Okay. Now everybody should be back from the commercial break. So as we left off, we were talking about how you got into doing the guild, and how that was the low points of your life where you were depressed, and then you got into this thing, and then you had this success, and then you moved on from that, and you went into Geek and Sundry, which allowed you to explore the gaming side more, and you got with Critical Role and D&D, and that's where we left off. And obviously with Buffy as well. But everybody in chat before the break was asking, how did you get involved with Dr. Horrible's sing-along? Could you give us that? Like, I'm sure there's a cool story behind that.
Well, I was in Buffy, and Joss Whedon was the creator of that show, and he really liked my work, and he really was an amazing mentor to me. And so I emailed him, like, I don't know if I should email fancy people about my website, web series, but I was like, I was so fanatical about getting word out because I was so proud of it, that I emailed him, and then he actually watched it. It's kind of like when I emailed Stan Lee, one of my music videos, Do You Want to Date My Avatar? And so from that, he actually watched it. And from then on, it was every time he saw me, he's like, the Avatar girl. And it was amazing. So I will tell you that it's really, I try to respond to some, I can't respond to everybody, but I do, whenever, especially a young person can be like, oh, I would love for you to look at my thing. Like, look at my fan art. And I'm like, oh, I loved it. I try to do that as much as my bandwidth allows, because somebody who you consider important looking at your work and being encouraging can mean the world to people. So anyway,
are you honest with them, or do you just make them feel good?
I will say something. I won't say, oh my God, this should be it's like the Mona Lisa. I'll be like, I love the work that you put in this. It's really obvious you have a voice. Keep working on it. Because that's all of us. We can always get better, right? Like there's no, oh my gosh, it's perfect. Nothing's perfect, right? I can look at the guild and be like, I could change 10,000 things about that. It launched my career, but if I did it now, knowing what I know, I would redo so much of it, right? So anyway, I forgot what you asked me. Oh, yes, Dr. Horrible. So Joss watched that, and it was during the writer's strike. So all the writers were going on strike because they were being treated really shabbily, and they needed to be supported more. And they were like, so he and his brothers and sister-in-law got together and they were like, we're going to make something in our garage too. And that's how that happened. And it was a huge phenomenon. It was amazing, and everyone loved it. And the songs are awesome. And I'm so privileged to be in it. I got to act with Nathan Fillion, who's an actor. You should look him up. And Neil Patrick Harris, who's amazing. And yeah, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience because we were all coming together to make stuff. And I guess if you're not in Hollywood, like I go back to it, like Hollywood is like a very provisional parent, like they want you to do something for them and they'll pay you really, really well for it. But they're going to put you through some torture and undermine you as an artist. Like it's very rare you're going to be like, here's the money, go make it, right? So yeah, it was kind of like, oh, we're getting away with something because we're making something on the cheap in our backyards, but we know people are going to like it.
And we're seeing, a few of the great cult phenomenons have been that way. It's been, low budget. I mean, remember, one of the craziest things was with Blair Witch Project, right? Remember when that came out and it was like this huge success. And they paid them. They didn't have any money to pay these guys. So some of the actors took an equity percentage, and then the movie made hundreds of millions of dollars and they became rich. Yep. Sometimes that's just the cult phenomenons. And, you've been a part of so many of them. I feel like one of the things about you that I'm learning through this interview, because I'm learning more about you other than the Wikipedia page, is how much of this groundswell, organic, passion projects you do that seem to be successful because it's something you're passionate about. You're going into it. You may not have the money, you may not have the resources, you may not have the experience, but you love it, you care about it, you're determined, and you've built success from that, from one project to the other to the other. But it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. And I think that's another thing that I think is very important important for people that are watching to understand that as great as everything seems, there is always dark times as well. And I know you touched on the depression you went through before the guild happened to take that. What are some other times during this crazy streak you've had where you thought maybe this isn't for you, or you need to give up, or it just wasn't worth it anymore, or whatever? I'd love to touch on those if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, all the time. I mean, I'm a very honest person, and that actually gets in the way of my acting, I think, because I don't like deceiving people. I'm hyper honest. And so when my experience was so pressured and stressful and just making my body like literally seize up and have horrible acid reflux and like burning a hole in my throat because of the stress of the company, especially. But then everybody else, my job was to make the company look successful, and it was successful. That sort of artifice of like, I'm faking this was very hard on my brain. And the biggest challenge was that I had to start protecting myself and my creativity. And therefore, I wasn't on camera as much. I didn't write for 5 years after the guild. It was like, it took, well, it was about 2 years when I started, but I didn't really feel like I was a writer again until like 5 years after the guild ended, because I was so burnt out and I didn't take care of myself. So for me, I think if you look at your inner creator as a child, you have to nurture and take care of and treat well. We don't treat ourselves as well as we treat other people, especially vulnerable people around us. But we need that kind of self-care, even if we're going through really tough times, like stressful things at work and trying to achieve the things we want. If you abandon your insides, then you're just going to be this sad little husk. And so that's what I kind of did. I drove myself into the ground. I sold the company, and I can't really say any details about that, but it didn't work out the way I pictured it. It was challenging to work within somebody else's needs for my company. That's just kind of like, you sell a company, you give away the keys to it in a sense. And we did some amazing stuff with Legendary, but there was also, there was ups and downs, and I can't say any more about it, but I decided to leave in 2018, especially since I was trying to have a baby and I literally couldn't have a baby for years. So like, I didn't add up that I wasn't taking care of my body enough so that if I wanted to ever have a baby, then I would have to take care of myself in a way that I'd never taken care of. So in fact, infertility was one of the greatest gifts that I ever had, because it forced me to take care of myself in a way. So anyway, I could talk about these boring things, but that's kind of
it's amazing because what you think is boring is something that everyday people, all of us, people in the chat, you, me, that actually deal with. And I think that when we have these interviews or when we do these things online, we always try to put forward our highlight reels. We never want to talk about what we consider boring or mundane, but that's what lets people know that, hey, listen, there's struggles that everyone does. And if you're struggling right now, it doesn't mean that it's forever, or it doesn't mean that you're alone, that everyone deals with these struggles. Like you said, you dealt with infertility, that's something that there's millions of people that deal with every day. It doesn't matter if they're CEOs or superstars or degenerate gamblers in my chat. There's people that are going to deal with these things on a regular basis. It's taken me years to be able to talk about it. I talk about mental health a lot, like with my diagnosis of ADHD. Like, it severely affects my life on a daily basis. Like, it's not some kind of thing where people are like, oh, I've got ADD because I'm just all hyper. I'm like, no, I literally can't function on a day-to-day basis unless there's somebody helping me out, or I take medication or whatever. Like, I struggle daily. So we know when you don't say it's boring. I think it's amazing that you're able to share this. And I think a lot of people are very, very touched that you're able to open up and talk about this. But now that we got the sentimental stuff out of the way, let's get back to the to the craziness, which is, for me, because if you ever watch my show, whenever I get personal and get like soft, like I have to. She's like, no, not even highlights.
I didn't even wiki you. I'm sorry.
There is no
just
wiki
go
of
anywhere
me.
Anybody asked me to.
That's absolutely fair. I mean, like I said, at this point, when they said you're coming on, I was like, who? And they said she was in a couple TV shows. I was like, oh, okay, let me Google her. And you had a wiki page. I'm like, all right, she's already got more clout than me, so I don't even have to. I don't have to.
Somebody make Stocky a wiki page. Anybody could do it. He's semi-qualified.
Okay. Okay, it's gonna be like that today, huh? Okay, I thought we got
Yep.
that out the way beginning. All right, all right. Well, now that we've semi-qualified the fact that you are on this, how far has your career fallen that you're on this show?
I mean, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, getting less famous. I mean, it's
I was
low
gonna say,
now.
like,
I
you
mean,
must really be on the downside if this is where you came.
I'll do anything, basically.
Now she's gonna make me feel bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we both roasted each other, guys. Moving back to the interview. Okay, all jokes aside. Okay, so you were talking about I'm trying to you called me semi-qualified, weak, non-muscular, nerdy. Like I don't even know where
Completely
to go
average,
from here.
actually. Yeah.
Average.
Listen,
Extremely average. There's nothing special about you, as your exact words, actually.
it's a
Beta
compliment.
was the it is a compliment, and I appreciate it. And coming from you, from what I've learned, that means a lot. So I do really do appreciate the compliment. Okay. Before we get into Q&A, you said that you were telling me that you had a couple autobiographies, right?
I have one because I'm not old enough to have a couple, but I do have. So they're both bestsellers. Yay, mom. Um, so I
Throwing that out
did
there.
an autobiography called "You're Never Weird on the Internet," almost, and that's really my journey of being a weird homeschool. It's like a more in depth of kind of what I've told you today. And then a couple
Mhm.
after I had a baby, I decided to write a creativity book because I was so lost in who I was, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, and I was like, I was the hormones and the lack of sleep drove me quite frankly, very badly into some mental illness territory. So I wrote this book about how to rediscover yourself and channel your creativity, and that's called "Embrace Your Weird." And so it's a book that has some stories in it, but it's also more about overcoming, helping other people overcome procrastination and anxiety and all this stuff. And there's little exercises in it that are you can fill out and tear the book apart and write in it. So it's like more of an interactive journal. And writing that book really helped me get to where I am right now, which is a much more happy, stable person. And I hope that if anybody wants, like, to work on your creativity, like pick it up. It's really fun.
I gonna be real with you. For me, I have such a hard time reading a book. Like I always tell people, if you ever go into a library, check out a book and see the second page, earmarked. That was me. Like I have such a
Yeah.
hard time doing it. But like you said, it's interactive. So I'm gonna maybe I'll have you send me a copy, or
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
pay
send you a
for
copy.
a copy. You could send to me.
No,
I'll
I'll
throw it in the
send you a free
bathroom, and
copy,
maybe
man.
I'll be able to. No, I don't want it signed. Just send me the copy though.
I'm gonna
I'll
put a big
definitely
old
try to check it
middle
out.
finger on the front page.
Oh,
No, there is an audiobook. You can hear me. You can hear me if you want, but I don't care. Do what you want, man.
well, I always do look for something to fall asleep to at night, so that would be awesome. Is it? Is it?
Exactly.
Is it? Can it be read out by like Sir David Attenborough?
Um, I read it. So if you think I'm annoying, you probably shouldn't get the
Oh,
audiobook.
that's perfect then. That's perfect.
Oh, it'll put you to sleep?
That should
Okay,
help me.
good. Yeah.
Absolutely, really quick too. Okay, Okay, now that we got that out of the way, all right. So let's go to the slides that they have prepared for me, so I can try to get through this thing. Okay, so Felicia Day, I almost called you Alicia.
It's
Felicia,
okay.
question for you. If you've noticed that the name Karen, obviously, has been thrown around a lot. Now, kids are actually no longer being named Karen because of that. How many cringy, creepy times has somebody done the "Bye Felicia" thing for you?
Uh thousands. Yeah, I had one just the other
Okay.
day at a parent. But here's what's really, guys, it's fine to do it. I don't care. But don't go like, this has literally happened at like a preschool meetup. Bye, Felicia. Has anyone ever done that to you? If you don't think so, like if you honestly think that you're the progenitor of telling a person named Felicia, bye Felicia, that's when you irritate the crap out of me. You could say bye Felicia and go like, I don't care. But don't act like, oh, whatever is no God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like when people make balding jokes to me. It's like, huh?
Oh, are
Haven't
you
heard
balding?
that 35 times. Huh?
Let me see. Let me see. Are you balding?
I mean, if you look at my hair 10 years ago, yes. You should see one of my mods. She's doing worse than I am. All right. So now we've talked about where you came from and such a crazy journey. So for those who are coming in later in the show, to give you a little TLDR, we started out in Alabama to the grandchild of a nuclear physicist who invented the laser, who then went on and got scholarships to Juilliard, but decided she was bored and go to college for mathematics and all that and music. At 16, came out, went and became this genius. So we have a certified genius here, but it was not an easy journey. Obviously, there was a lot of low points, a lot of struggling, but following the passion, keeping weird, keeping great, continuing to pursue it, somehow getting to a peak, and then somehow ending up on this show. But now that we've gone through that journey, we know where you came from, where you are. But the best thing is what I like to look at is what's next for Felicia Day? Like, not that generalized crappy interview where like, what's the next passion project? No, what is next? What is next? Where are you going, hopefully, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, other than being an amazing mother?
Okay. Yes. My job is to be the best.
See what I did there?
Ever.
You were about to roast me,
Thank you so
but
much.
I dropped amazing mother and it just ruined it.
I want to do whatever the hell I want. I do stream on Twitch. I stream like 3 to 4 times a week. If you guys want to come and watch, we play with the guild on Sunday nights mostly. And then during the week I play solo. I love it. And because of COVID, it allowed me to just embrace the fact that I really like this. It's not my full-time job, but I love it. And I love it as a tool to build community. So I have a really great Discord. I have a couple of.
Did you just plug your
projects.
Discord on my stream?
No, I didn't. Do you want me to do Felicia Day, discord.gg/Felicia Day? I wouldn't do that to you. Anyway,
hold on.
So I have a couple of big writing projects coming out.
So nobody can say it.
Oh, that's really sweet. I guess I'll follow you. Okay, I followed you. Look at that. I have a couple of big writing projects coming out. Mystery Science Theater 3000. I just was acting in that last weekend, so that's going to come out next year.
I was supposed to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's a lot. I have another. I have a graphic novel that'll be out. I'm going to get back into more acting. I have a creator coin.
Wait, graphic is in like it has pictures or like it's graphic?
Yes, it's a graphic novel. I don't know if there'll be boobies in it or not. I might put some boobies in it just for you.
Oh, really? Is it like graphic novel with graphics?
Yeah, it's a graphic novel. Do you not know what a graphic novel is, Stocky?
I don't read novels. We've already gone over this.
It's like a big comic book.
So porn.
Just move on. Move on, please. Also, okay, but then that's what I have in the next five. This is what I want your advice, or not advice, not financial advice, but your perspective. Mm-hmm. My dream is to fire at 50 and retire to Spain. Show me how to do it.
Who are you going to fire?
I'm going to fire.
You mean like financial independence, retire early?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my dream.
I'm going to be honest with you. Fire is the dumbest concept I've ever heard of.
Okay. Can I just retire early?
Are you ready for a whiteboard?
Do I have a whiteboard? No. I have a bunch of figurines.
Are you
back
ready
here.
for a whiteboard? Since I know that you know what graphic novels are, since we've already established that, can I bust out the whiteboard for you?
Yes, bust out the whiteboard.
Okay. Let me tell you why fire is a crap concept, okay?
This is good.
And then we're going to talk about.
To be clear, I just want to retire from Hollywood and do what I still am doing. So I will still work.
Okay, but now you're ruining my whole thing. Like you knew.
Okay, let's pretend I'm just going to fire and not work, even though not working is boring, because I would never not work.
What does fire mean? Fire means financial independence and retire early. We want to get the retire early out because most people's idea of retirement is just stopping working, right? Like that's
No, that's not
like,
me.
I'm done working. Okay.
No.
But for the other people who aren't semi-successful, people in this world that are in my chat, the retire early part is a problem. And the reason is because when we plan on retiring, we plan on quit working. When we plan on quit working, we don't have a plan. What happens? Oh, I'll just travel. Yeah, well, you're going to run out of money. Oh, I'll just go fishing. That gets bored really quick. I'll just sit and watch Jeopardy. Yeah, you're just slowly dying. I'll play with my grandkids. They're going to hate you when they turn 14 anyway. So the idea is to get financial independence, but have FU money. Now, what does FU money mean? FU money means you can continue to work part-time, full-time, whatever, but you work because you want to, not because you have to. So you may
That's
be
FIFU.
part-time
So
working.
FIFU. You're selling FIFU.
I'm not selling anything.
FIFU. Okay. No, you're proposing FIFU.
FIFU.
Oh, it's I like FIFU better.
Well, this isn't your show. Thank you. Okay. All right. So you want to go into Portugal and you want to retire with your child. You know, the cool thing about Portugal, fun fact, is that they are actually incentivizing the hell out of remote workers right now. They are giving a crap ton of incentives for people to come there. But then again, Portugal's been trying to incentivize people for years to come there. I don't know why they want people to get there so much. I mean, they gave away, basically allowed everybody, hey, you can do drugs. We'll give you clean needles. Still can't get in people. Hey, we'll give you 8 more weeks of vacation. Come in. I don't know what it is about Portugal, but they're having a hard time getting people to come there. I don't know what else it's going to be. Nude beaches? Nope. I mean, then again, I've seen some never mind. Okay. So you want to go to Portugal. Before we do that, what is your crypto? You said you DJ what? Go.
No. I'm just saying I haven't been to Portugal, so I shouldn't plan it. My goal is to yes, I want to live in Europe and I want to be able to work from there. So it needs good internet. But I want to be able to leave Hollywood. What?
Why Europe? Why Europe?
Have you been there?
Yeah, but it's not like Europe isn't a country. Like there's a big difference between Spain, Romania, Scotland, and Greece. Like, what are you just gonna get on a train and just do like the Snowpiercer thing? Like, what are you doing?
Yes, I do. I want to explore all the different cultures. I want to be exposed to new things. I want to learn history of Carcassonne outside of the board game. I want to be able to say that I've been to Andorra, which is this country, evidently. I want to be. So
why not just travel and did not live? Like, I'm trying to, here's what you're going to do. I got your plan for you right now. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your thousands of dollars you've made in your career, and you are going to do 2 things. Number one, you're going to open up a college fund for your kid in case something happens to you. Okay. All right. That's number one. You're going to get that going. Number 2, you're going to move to a state. What state do you live in currently?
California.
You're going to get the hell out of California. You're giving up all your money in income tax right now. You got to get out of there. If not, is your business registered in California?
Yes, all 4 of them.
Stupid move. Move it to Texas, Delaware, or Florida. I'm telling you right now, this way that your money funnels through into a state where there is no state taxes, you're going to keep 7 to 15% more of your money. That's number one. Then you're going to take that money, all that money that you weren't giving, that you were giving away to the government. You're going to keep that money and you're going to start throwing that into some high risk stuff. Why not? Because guess what? You were giving it away to the government anyways, so it's free money. Take that, throw that into some high yield stuff, some risky stuff. The rest of it, you're going to throw in some dividends and you're just going to keep building that. When you're done and you walk away, you're going to have so much money that just pays you.
So I just went to Sweden and they pay really high taxes there, but it's all worth it. They have free, amazing healthcare. They have free, amazing education. If you were an adult, you could go back to university and just audit classes if you want. They send you an email with your taxes and you just go, boop. You don't even have to do your taxes. They do. What's wrong with, I don't mind paying taxes if I'm getting, that sounds amazing. What's wrong with that?
Well, there's a lot of things that are more intricate. I'm not advocating one or the other. I think there's a lot of problems with capitalism. I think there's a lot of problems with a lot of different things. But the one thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand is that it's not as clear-cut cookie cutter is that. Like, there's a lot of other intricacies that are there. For example, you start seeing the increase in prices of things. You also have to understand that, like, for example, those countries are much smaller. They don't pay for their military and defense. Other people pay for it. So now they have money that they can now use for that, right? But let's say the US or the other people stop paying for their defense and military and there were some problems. Now they can't afford that because now they have more money. People make more money, but this is a whole other conversation. And I'm not going to defend. There's a lot of problems with the way the America's system is. There's a lot of problems with those other ones. Everyone wants to look at the good and not accept the bad. Like, for example, I'm never going to defend the American 100% the way the American, economy and social, the construct is and how the government is, because there's a lot of flaws to it. And the other ones, it sounds good on paper, but there's a lot of issues over there too, especially as we see over time. For example, Nordic countries are actually moving away from the socialist part of their democratic socialism because they're finding that they're having a lot of problems. But that's not what this interview is about.
No,
because okay. I'm not a political streamer. I'm a journalist, not an activist. But yes, you're absolutely right. I would love to have those options.
That's all I want. So we'll see. I'll let you know when I'm in 10 years, okay? It's probably not going to happen.
All right,
it's
all you got to do, move your business out of California, take that money. You're going to open two businesses. You're going to move your business to Florida, and you're going to open up a secondary business.
I will never do anything with Florida. Haven. It's a hanging dingle-dangle on the butthole of America.
You're in California.
What's wrong with California? It's great. We have the best weather. The food is great. Although food really good in Florida, too. It's fine. Do you live in Florida?
We have good weather. I'm waiting for the next thing. Go ahead. I'm here. I'm waiting. We have good weather.
It's so muggy. It's so muggy there. You're moist.
I'm still waiting for what makes California amazing. Good weather.
It's dry. The food is
dry
amazing.
In Texas. It's dry in Arizona. It's dry in New Mexico. Next.
I mean, it's
No.
Listen,
everyone says Cali, man. I want to hear it.
There, you could have
Northern
California has trees,
high taxes, red tape, homeless population. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm right. I was going down the wrong list. Go ahead. Good weather.
I like Los Angeles as a city. I like it. I'm one of the few people in the world.
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
LA. Because it's extremely diverse. It has anything you want in it. Like, I'm a big city liver, though. I would never live in San Francisco.
That's New York City. That's Miami. That's Atlanta. I'm trying to see what makes it so amazing.
I don't want to go. Ask me another question. I feel
see, this is what happens. It's facts versus feelings now.
No, you're right. It's irrational.
All right. Well, now that we're on the since you asked me a controversial topic, let's go this. What are your thoughts on Taiwan and China?
Oh boy, I have no thoughts on it. I like to have no thoughts on things.
Vaccines. Let's hear your thoughts.
If you don't have a vaccine,
gun rights. Go ahead.
You're kind of an idiot. Okay, gun rights. Listen.
Don't answer it. Don't answer it. Don't answer it. Don't answer it. It's a trap. It's a trap. You're on Twitch. You know.
Why are you
the producers are yelling right now. They're like, "No, stop it." All right,
I will say that I am unrepentantly pro-vaccine. So get your vaccines, guys.
Okay. It's oh God. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I told you not to. I literally told you not to.
You're the one who did this. You set me up. You set me up, Stocky.
I did. I set you up, and then I gave you an out. And you didn't take it.
You're stressing out. You're losing hair. I can see it. Your hairline's creeping. Stop it. Just ask me a not controversial question, okay? Stop creeping.
You really, really went there. Okay, great value, Julia Roberts. Let's keep going.
No, it would be 99 cents.
Now we are at the other part here, okay? All right, number one, we got to do a couple things. The first thing we have to do is we have to teach Stocky something. So I honestly, I was originally told them that I wanted to ask you some parenting advice, but after this interview, I feel like that's probably not what I want to do on the Teach Stocky something. So, but you know what? Anyways, listen. I'm not going to answer that. That's a trap too. By the way, I like your little 1 pound weights back there. Like I love how you set those up so
Right
we
here?
can see that you're a workout girl. But like, what are those for
Do you
your
know the last
baby
time
or
I
you?
lifted those? I haven't lifted those.
The last time you played a guitar?
Probably, yeah. Last time I played guitar, dust. There's dust all over this.
Look, guys, I work out. Okay, I love how it's still perfectly in the crop of the screen. Like it's there, and you're leaving it there as like a look, guys. I'm fit and healthy. Like, don't play games with me, Felicia Day. All right, don't play games with me. All right, I need you to teach me something. So we're gonna put it this way. I'm gonna pretend like my baby. Is your kid a boy, girl, or non-gendered, binary?
She's a girl. She's a girl. Yep, she identifies as a girl.
Did you choose that for her? Did she choose that herself?
I very much, there's a great book about there's a great book, and I can't remember the name of it, about how we raised girls and boys and how it sets girls especially up for a track of, not being as tech savvy and all this stuff. So I gave my kid, you tried it. Wait, what? You don't want me to talk about this?
I have a daughter as well, and she is turning 1 year old next month. So my question is as a parent, first-time parent of a little girl who's about to be 1, and then obviously 1 and then 2, what is something I'm not prepared for that I need to be prepared for?
I think you should be prepared for the prevalence of media and society telling her what she needs to be and limiting her. And I honestly believe this. When I had a kid, I never really observed. When you start reading books and there are she pronouns in books, you'll notice if you just change all pronouns to they, the way that they portray girl characters and boy characters is very different. The way that girls act, the girl characters act, they aren't as goofy, they don't mess up as much. They are certainly portrayed in certain color palettes, all this stuff. So what I decided to do was not be extreme about it. She can get whatever pink princess thing she wants, but I do, when I'm reading to her, I change pronouns to they, and it actually makes me think about storytelling and the way that we sort of brainwash girls, especially, and boys, into thinking that, conforming to traditional gender stereotypes. So that's the one thing I did that I think really affects her perception of what she should like and what she shouldn't, because again, society puts these gate rails up on us, telling us what we should be. And then we're on these highways not knowing how to even get off because we don't even realize we could get off. And yet we feel like we're not really who we are inside, right? And so I always want to leave her options. I also read this book I listened to Janet Lansbury, which is an amazing podcast on parenting about respecting your child and giving them, safety to be themselves and be able to make mistakes and form their own opinions in a way that is very empowering versus like controlling them. And then the last thing was when I went through her 2s and 3s, looking at tantrums and breakdowns and meltdowns as opportunities for me to support her and comfort her and get her through something hard versus something really super inconvenient for me. Often when a kid's having a tantrum, it's they're too tired, they're too hungry, they're sleepy, they're being pushed in a stimulating environment that's too much for them. And they don't know how to process it, right? So having empathy toward my kid when she's having trouble versus like telling her what she needs to do all the time and being super strict and punishing her is something that's super important to me as a parent. And it's not like I'm letting her do whatever the hell she wants. I am just making it safe for her to explore and be herself and figure out the world in a way that making mistakes isn't horrible. I'm not dictating everything she needs to do. And then when she's having a hard moment, I'm there for her no matter what.
Okay, I was hoping for make sure to scramble the eggs with water instead of milk, but that's good too. No, actually, all jokes aside, that's actually very, very interesting. I've been learning as a father of a little girl. I never thought I was going to have kids. First of all, I never thought a woman would want to breed with me, but I never thought I was going to have kids, and especially this late in life. And more importantly, I never thought I was going to have a girl. And so now that I have a girl, everything she's wrapped, I'm wrapped around her finger. She's my whole world. But I'm actually, as a guy who grew up kind of like one of those I'll bang him, hit him and quit him and that kind of asshole-ish. Now I never really cared growing up. I know this is probably gonna get canceled. Not that you can, but whatever. But that's how I viewed it. I didn't care. I was just trying to get off. That was it. You know what I mean? Who cares? Do what I got to do to get laid. I don't give a shit. whatever. I'll lie to her. I'll tell her parents I'm good. No, that's who I was. I was a piece of shit when I got my heart broken and it turned me into a bad person. But now that I'm older and now that I'm married and now that I have a little girl, it's changed everything. Like, I'm thinking about her future and the way she's going to view society and what her thinks. Like, it's changing everything for me, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And for you to say, hey, I'm not trying to be too politically correct and social justice warrior by saying, hey, you see this person? My kid is a Z or a Zay, I'm not doing all that crazy shit. But I want to, give her this idea that I don't want her at this young, impressionable age to build a construct based on what someone else wrote. I want her to develop that or herself. And part of that is by saying they. And honestly, I've never heard that before, and I think that's an amazing idea, and I'm going to try it, actually.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
I guarantee you,
aside,
if you start reading some kids' books and just change the pronoun, you'll be surprised. You will be startled about like how it changed. You're like, oh, I see a pattern of behavior and the gender that we're kind of imposing, and like, yeah, I don't care what I don't want her to be limited in what she can explore in this world because she's already has an idea. Because kids don't know the rules. If you take a 2-year-old and was like, at 15, you're going to have wings and fly, and you tell them that, they're going to believe that, right? So society is all arbitrary. The rules that everybody wears blue shirts, like they would buy it. That's world. So it's all very arbitrary. And so they're just trying to figure out the world and how it works. And so any rule that they could just put there and solve a problem with, they're going to put that rule in place and then just go on to the next thing to learn. So you just have to be super aware. Like, we play a lot of Mario games, right? And like, Peach is always getting fucking kidnapped. I'm sorry. It's annoying as crap. And so rather than just like not playing those games or sheltering her, I just make an observation. I'm like, Peach really has a problem getting kidnapped. What do you think the problem is? And we kind of had the conclusion she's like really, really smart, but she doesn't know how to defend her body that much. And then I put her in jujitsu. So I'm like, don't be a Peach.
Why not just give Peach a gun?
I mean, I don't play. You're
from Alabama.
Listen, my mom had a gun floating around her purse. She'd be like, I want some gum. Like, I just go in and get some gum from her purse.
Well, then your mom she should have had it clipped.
It was in a. This is too much information. Anyway.
Go ahead. Let's hear it. That's what this interview is all about. Finding out the real Felicia Day, not what we see on YouTube.
No, I'm just saying that you having that perspective for your child is awesome. All you need to do is awareness, and you can't like protect them from everything. You could just like give your perspective, like, hey, yeah, do you think that if a person wakes you up in the middle of the night, you should go marry them, like with Snow White? I'm like, wow, that doesn't seem like a good plan. That you wake up and marry the first person you meet. You don't even know them. Like, I don't think there's any problem in just making that observation and then having her have a perspective.
Well,
that's not that.
I would say in today's society, but back then, I mean, arranged marriages happened all the time. That was just kind of how it happened. So,
women were objects to be used. Yeah. I mean, back fairy tale times, but that's not what we do now, right?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some women who still like to be treated like that. But that's to each their own. I'm not here to kink shame, but I get what you're saying. No, and like I said, as a father with a daughter, everything is changing for me. It's literally my outlook on everything is different. Like I told my wife, listen, let's just buy her whatever she wants. If she wants it, we'll get it. Not like whatever she wants to spoil her, but I mean like as in like if she wants dolls, if she wants trucks, she wants to go hunting with me, or she wants me to play tea time with her. I'll do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just want her to be happy. And if she shows interest in something, I'm going to try and nurture it and culture it to maybe that's a passion to lead her to do something she wants to do with her life. You know, that's what I want to do. And when I hear stuff like what you're saying there, I like to absorb that information from somebody who might have a different perspective and a better perspective because I'm evolving and I'm becoming a different human being and a different person as I get older. I refuse to stay in a little bubble in an echo chamber and just only believe my political or my economic or my parenting. I feel like, learning from other people helps us evolve as a good person. We're running out of time, Felicia. I feel like we could do this for another hour and a half and I'd have a blast, but we only have you for a certain amount of time and I don't want to get in trouble. So let's go ahead and do we have time? Do you want to do the Q&A session? We don't have to.
Sure, we can do it.
Let me see if the producers are okay with it.
Everybody is apathetic at most.
Okay, we'll do a couple. We'll do a couple before we do advice and YOLO. So, guys, if you guys, the producers, if you guys can pop up some questions on the screen here, we're gonna do some live Q&As with Felicia and see if it can actually not be derailed as bad as what I've done with this interview. All right, so we've got the Bopper 00 saying, after growing up sheltered and isolated, what made you decide to go to Hollywood for a career?
I loved acting. I did a lot. So the one thing that I did do whenever we moved to a new city was I did community theater. So I was like orphan number 7 in Oliver a couple times. I was like can girl number 4. And so I was just a part. I was never like the star, but I was always part of a production. And I love the creative collaboration of making stuff with other people. And that's why I love community building, and I love making stuff with people. So that really is, I think, the core of it. And I naively thought, and I volunteered for a lot of film festivals in Austin because the indie film scene was really tight and really small and pretty cool back then with Robert Rodriguez and Linklater and all that stuff. So I kind of naively thought that Hollywood would give me that joy of making things with other people. And it was not. It's a business, it's a machine. And I can't be mad at the machine because the machine is what it is. It's just, what do I want to give the machine and how much can I give it? And what am I going to get out of the machine in order to make myself happy? So you rail against any, institution, but you kind of have to realize, okay, it's an institution. And how can I change it? If I can't change it, how do I be happy within it? Or do I need to be out of it completely? And so that's kind of what I learned, that business and creativity need to be looked at in 2 different ways.
Do you prefer to have the control, like the control of the creative control, or do you kind of like have it like spread out, or do you like to kind of like have a team but be the one that kind of is the controlling aspect?
I like to be in charge. Yes, I definitely like being in charge. I like being a leader, but I also am super excited when somebody can make my idea better or bring another idea that I didn't think of to the table. I've been working on an animation project and for a big, company. And that process has been really rewarding because me and my writing partner wrote a script, but then a director takes it and kind of gives feedback. You get the executives that give really good feedback, thank goodness. And then you get board artists who come in and they bring it to life, but they change some words or they change a visual or they add a joke. And you're just like, oh, wow, this is constantly evolving because people are sort of adding their own creativity onto each other and making this better than it would have been if it was just me in my room writing a graphic novel. So I've learned that what makes me happy is like, yeah, I'll go and work in Hollywood and be a cog in the wheel because that pays better than anything I do. But also it's kind of fun to just kind of do one thing sometimes and be good at that one thing, like just acting, not worrying about craft service or getting it sold. There's also the amazing fun in just turning on my computer and streaming because I love it, or being on my Discord and making my creator coin or whatever. And then there's also fun in doing a collaborative process that I'm paying for myself, like a little podcast I'm going to record and release. It's a scripted thing, release through my, one of my platforms. And so people can buy it. So that's, hopefully I make my money back, but that's me working with 5 other friends. So like, for me, if I don't have all those different kinds of creativity going, I'm not happy because just one of those would not kind of scratch all my, itches or boxes or whatever.
Okay. No, it's fair. I like to see, some people like to have that control. Some people like to be very controlling. Some like to delegate. Some like to, just be part of it. So it's nice to see that because, like I said, so it gives me an insight into the projects that you've done in the past when you answer that question, because it lets me know that, it really was you driving this. Like you were part of a team and you were there, but like this was your passion project and you like to have, a little bit of hands on everything. You let people do their thing, but you want to make sure that you have like the control like there. So that just gives me a little bit more to understand of who you are. And so I thought that was really cool. Another question here is, Felicia, are you still playing video games? And if so, what are your new go-to games?
Yes, I'm playing. I stream only as an excuse, so I feel like I'm making a little money in order to justify playing video games and being away from my kid and my career, regular career, whatever that is. Yes, I do stream. I was playing Unpacking yesterday, which is amazing. The Guild and I play Stardew and Fortnite. We do D&D on Sundays, so that's Sunday nights. I love big story games. So my favorites have been like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I would love to play Skyrim, the new remastered or the anniversary edition. That game I probably spent like 400 hours in before this new one, and they have fishing now. So yes, please. The one thing I don't play anymore is MMOs because I've tried And I feel like the obligation of showing up for other people is not where I'm at right now, or the fact that unless I play like 5 hours, I'm not going to get far, and that's frustrating. So I tend to play either single player games that are. I was playing like Humankind for a while, which was really fun. So I play all different games, and I don't really finish them, and that's probably why I'm not a bigger streamer. But I don't care.
Yeah, I did that with Morrowind back in 2004. I played Morrowind for like 100 or something hours, which for me was like insane. And then I went back and played it last year, and it was so bad. It just wasn't what I remembered. You know, like
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the nostalgia. It's like trying to remember, like there's a couple movies I went back and watched from my childhood that were so bad that I thought were good. I mean, not as bad as some of the remakes, but they're already starting to remake. There's 3 movies they're not allowed to do a remake on, and before they ruin it, and that is Neverending Story, Princess Bride, and The Brave Little Toaster. As long as they don't touch those 3, I'm okay. But I feel like it's only a matter of time. Okay.
It's only a matter of time.
Another question here. This is one I normally ask, but I didn't get a chance to. When you finally made money, right? Like when you finally got your first chunk of change, right? Like obviously it wasn't a lottery, but you started making money from, those are the early days of YouTube. So ad revenue wasn't the way it was, but when you started getting buyouts and purchases and endorsements and sponsorships, and you finally had a big bit of money, what was the dumbest thing you spent money on? What was like that one big dumb purchase you made that everybody makes?
I just left it in my checking account.
But you had to buy something.
That's the dumbest thing.
But what was the dumbest purchase you made?
I have been really cheap in my life. I don't make dumb purchases. I bought my car, but it was a Prius. I came from no money. And like there was a lot of stress in my house about money, that my mom would spend it. And then my dad, there was a lot of we had no money. All our money went to lessons for us. Thank goodness. I got a lot of skills, but like we never had money. We didn't even have our couch was on the side of the street. Like I slept on the couch.
I had one of those. I had one of those.
You have a street couch?
I got it on the side.
Yeah,
I got it in a dead end street.
Yeah.
And then it started smelling like a while later, and I didn't know why. And there was a dead animal inside. So I just took it out back, and I just Febrezed the shit out of it. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to say I've never made because like money. See, not coming from money, what I regret the most is not at least investing a little bit of it early. Like I never made, I'm not like super rich. I'm not rich now. So, but I'm,
you never owned a PT
I can
Cruiser,
live in LA. No, PT Cruisers are the worst cars ever. Okay. So, I think this is where rich people get richer, because if you have money and you invest even a little bit of it, you're just going to automatically get money. And so unless you come from money, you're not aware of what to do when you get a little bit of money. So like if I could tell 17-year-old Felicia something, it would just be like, get financially literate. Because it's not just like, hey, invest in Amazon and be rich. That's not the point. Just like be literate about finances and how business works so that you can react when opportunity approaches you and make better decisions for yourself in the long term. So I have a theoretical math degree, but what? I ruined your question because it wasn't like I bought a Tesla or like,
No. The last question of my stream with everybody is, what would you go back and tell 17-year-old you?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I ruined it. So happy.
This whole stream has been a train wreck. You didn't ruin anything. You're fine.
You're welcome. You're fine.
No, it's not your fault. I just was like, I have this bad habit of saying something really funny, and instead of just leaving it there, continuing on until it becomes awkward and cringe. And I do that all the time. And I'm sure that you saw that. And you usually have that problem too, but you didn't have to do it today because I just did it for you. So you look like you're the professional here. And I love that. Okay. With a math background, are you interested in technical analysis of stock charts or trading at all?
No. I have a theoretical math degree. I was the valedictorian of my class. I was primarily most interested in group theory and topology. I get glazed over whenever I talk about real money. And I promise you, I'm not, like I said, I'm really cheap. I'm never in debt, but like getting more money is not interesting me. So I did launch a creator coin on this. I don't want to talk very much about it, but I did it only as an experiment to learn about crypto, And also how can I have fun using this as a community builder? It's very small. It's not going to be like a pump and dump. It's on a side chain, so it's not ruining the environment. But I did it because I don't want to be ignorant about it. And I got into it not knowing what I would like about it. The thing I don't like about it is caring about what the value is. For 2 days, I was like, all right, it'll just do what it does. But the exciting thing is like, oh, what can I do here to get the merch through the crypto? And what can I do to do a cool NFT that's just like a membership badge or whatever? So for me, tech and dollars and stuff like that is only about creativity. How does it make me creative? It's just another way to do something nobody has done before. And that's what I really, really like doing. Innovating, creating with tech. The financials of it, as long as I can pay my credit card every month, I really don't care. And that's to the detriment of myself in 30 years, I know. But I just can't care about it. My stocks, I have some that I finally get it up. I don't even look at them. I'm like, they'll go up and down. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know that's weird.
Right. Guys, if you guys want to check out her coin, I'm not going to say it. If please, nobody talk about it too much. You can talk about it in chat if you want. I'm not going to talk about it because obviously there's reasons for that. But if you want to check it out, when she shouts out her socials, go there. It'll send you there. You can check it out and be more than happy to check it out. I know you guys are always looking for the next crazy thing, so you're welcome to.
And if you hate that stuff, I totally hear you. There's a lot of reasons to hate it. I totally hear that. So we don't need to go into it.
They hate me, but they watch me, so it's okay. Sometimes you can hate and love something at the same time. Last question. It says she's got a huge, where is it? Hold on. She's got a huge game collection back there, dude. Does she have a board game group, and what's her favorite?
So I created a show with my friend Will Wheaton called Tabletop, and that was like our big show on Geek and Sundry. And so every time, publishers would send all of us the games, right? So I got a copy of all the games on Tabletop, but I also buy games myself. I had a group of friends who worked at Geek and Sundry. We would play board games all the time. Since COVID, since having a baby, there's just not time for game night. I'm starting to play some games with her. So we play Takinoko together. We have Castle. We do Munchkin together. We play Splendor sometimes just because the gems are cool.
Splendor?
There's a lot of really good games back here. I don't know. I've never played Gloomhaven because that's post my baby. And God forbid, I actually open a game that big after I reproduced until she is able to play it with me. But
after I reproduced, Scythe. Oh God.
Yeah. I love Scythe, but I've only played it twice. Do you play board games?
Scythed. I have not played a board game in a long time. The last time I played a board game was Monopoly, and it ended badly because they thought I was being an asshole. Because there is a rule that says if somebody lands on a spot and it's for sale and they don't buy it, everyone else can auction on it. That's the rule. That's the rule of Monopoly. But nobody knows that rule. So when I throw it out, I'm like, all right, $100 for it. Somebody's like, what are you doing? You can't do that. I'd be like, yeah, I can. And then it was a big fucking thing. I would say the last board game I played that wasn't Cards Against Humanity that's not a board game. It's a card game. So the last board game I played it's a game. It's not a board game though.
Everything is playing on a board. It's on a board. You're playing on a table. It's a tabletop.
Okay,
game.
Roulette.
That's not a board game.
It's played on a board. Blackjack. It's a tabletop game.
Okay, maybe I'm learning something right now. Do you like?
You're the one who said You said tabletop game. That's a game on a tabletop.
You're absolutely right. I got taught or schooled, whatever that says. Do you like to gamble? Do you like to gamble? Do you go to Vegas to gamble?
I trade stocks. What do you think?
See, that's the thing. I'm totally risk averse, so I do not gamble. I've spent $50 on kitty glitter. It was one of those pennies. That's it.
Didn't you put $500 in a bunch of coins?
Yes, I did. So because I'm trying to educate myself. I don't want to be a person who doesn't know what the hell.
No.
I bought one NFT. It cost the gas fees cost more than the NFT, which really annoyed me. Just to see how the process was and what it is. And then I put $100 in 5 different coins just to see how it goes up and down. And it bores the hell out of me. I'll just be honest with you. I don't care about it.
Good. Good. That's a safe thing to do because next thing you know, you're going to lose it. All right. Last two questions. These are coming from me. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Dude, stop blowing my minds here.
It's a question.
I mean, I guess technically, listen, is a taco a sandwich? Because I'm going to say if you fold is a pita a sandwich?
No.
Then a hot dog's not a sandwich.
Thank you. Does pineapple ever belong on pizza?
Yes, always.
All right, cut the interview. That's it. We're done. We're done.
It's my favorite
guys,
topping.
You should have vetted her better.
My pizza is
Do not bring these
olive,
heathen,
pineapple.
ungodly
You shut up.
people onto my street.
You just shut up, you dumb, ignorant person. You shut up, okay? Pineapple it rules, okay? Olives, mushrooms. I'm going to order one right now, and I'm going to eat the hell out of it.
Let me explain to you something, okay? Wish.com, whatever her name is, the one, that girl from Saturday Night Live, okay? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something here, okay? Okay? Let me tell you something, all right? The only people who put pineapple on pizza are serial killers and people who believe California is the greatest state in America. Okay? Those are the only two people that put that on there. Number one. Number two, I'm done. I'm done with you. Your career is done. You're done, and not just on Twitch. I want you to know that. I had so many good questions.
I'm going to FIFU, you fucko.
Yeah, bye,
and it's
Felicia.
FIFU. That's the whole thing is fire, okay? That's why it's not FIFU.
But the thing is you're allowed to get away with this because I'm the quirky girl who's into nerdy stuff and all my Sims think I'm so funny. Like, you get to get away with that. If I say this, I'm just the overbearing asshole.
You just showed it.
See what I mean? Like, you get to cuss me out, call me whatever you want, talk about my hairline. But the second I say, damn, I bet you sure wish you got that nose job now. Oh, I'm the bad guy, right?
No, you never know, man. You never know. Right here. My dad's a plastic surgeon. I'll just ask it for my birthday. Boop, 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 boop,
You might want, okay, you know what? I think we're done here. Okay, you know what?
Can I go home now? Jesus.
I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm going to be the bigger person here. I really should have entered this interview on time. You know what? Let's go ahead and move this on. You know what? I want to raise if we do a season 2 of this. If you bring on people like this, I want to raise. This is ridiculous. Okay. Alicia, the last thing I had for you was, where was it here? Did the producers actually put, quote unquote, you fucko Felicia Day 11/16/2021 on the cue cards?
Oh,
you guys are enjoying this. Okay,
them.
we're done here. Okay, we're not going to ask what 17-year-old Felicia we would ask what it is. We're done there. You know what? Here's the thing. The last thing we do, and I'm going to put this up here, is I need you to give me 3 random letters.
FUS.
All right, FUS. All right, you don't know this, but what happens is at the end of every interview, if you want to loosely call it an interview today, we have 3 letters, and that is a YOLO. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those letters and we are going to put them together, and we are going to make a stock prediction. Now, your stock is going to be at the end of day today, whatever the price is, versus the ending at the end of day on Tuesday of next week, to see who is going to be the winner. So far, the biggest winner has actually been Malika. She was the CEO. I'm sure you know her. She's actually in the lead, barely 50 cents per share. But you picked FUS, which is going to be Fusion Pharmaceuticals. FUSN, Fusion Pharmaceuticals, another low volume stock, which is going to get probably wrecked today. It is down 13% this month, 22% for the past 3 months, 50% for the last year. And 65% since it opened up 3 years ago. It has done nothing but fall out of the sky since it came into being on June 26 at $18.50. So this chart, if you pull it up, looks just like your career. So we're going to add you in for this, and then we'll see how this looks at the end. So that's all I've got. We'll see how this plays out. But Alicia, thank you so much for coming on to the stream. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
It was a great fun. Can we get Felicia to co-host future shows? No, Felicia's still somehow too big for this
Only
show.
if my career is as bad as Stocky
soon.
makes it seem would I be that desperate.
You're already here. All right, Felicia, tell us how you can how they can find you.
Anywhere at Felicia Day. TikTok, it is Felicia.day. I don't know why, because somebody took my name. It's Felicia Day everywhere. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Discord. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just wherever you want me.
No, guys, her career would have to bomb even further for us to have our own show in the future. But guys, listen, thank you so much, Felicia, Alicia, whatever it is. Thank you so much for coming on. And it was nice to get to know you. You are absolute pleasure. These guys loved it. As a matter of fact, they've actually all said they've unfollowed my channel and followed yours. So good luck with that. But again, thank you so much. You have been absolutely awesome. Your journey was amazing and you are hilarious. And it was nice to finally meet my match.
It was very nice to meet you.
I hope when I'm as old as you, I have a great sense of humor as well.
Okay, fuck you. Bye.
Bye. To the moon. See you next week.